Hello, everybody. This is KillerbotT99603 with KovackAttack Gaming. We're going to be doing some Overwatch VOD reviews for the competitive side of things today. Yeah, it's going to be something new for the channel, just something I'm interested in doing. A little background on me. I am... Sorry. I am a teacher for my day job, but I really enjoy gaming. I've been able to climb from about silver to near diamond on both tank and support roles. I am playing on PS4. I can't afford a computer yet. I'm working towards it. But a lot of the game knowledge transfers over. It's just a different set of mechanical skills. So I think I'm going to be able to help out with some game sense, game info, that kind of stuff, and just doing VOD reviews. Like, I don't need to play PC to help out with VOD reviews. That said, today we are going to be looking at a bronze Mercy player, and I'm just going to see what I can do to help out. This is one of my first times doing this, so if you see anything that's wrong, like I'm not perfect, let me know down in the comments and help me out. Help me get better at the game while I'm trying to help other people get better. That's what this is all about. So without further ado, let's hop on over and see what our Mercy player, what our friend can do. Do the volume up, right? Yeah. Okay. Good. So, just gonna skip ahead a little bit to see what our team comp is. Looks like Soldier, Mercy, Ryan, Zarya, Doom. Oh no, where'd I get Soldier? Sorry. Ryan, Zarya, Mercy, Doom, Symmetra, Moira. Okay. Honestly, this isn't too bad. This is actually a pretty good comp. Mercy and Moira does leave your team without a defensive ult, but you're going to make up for it with Mercy's res, her utility to bring somebody back that may have gotten killed by an ultimate, and just the combined healing power here. Sorry, I just wanted to get the freeze on on the team comp here. So, cool, it is going to let me. So our healers, let's talk about this first, just because that's what we're going over. That is an awful circle. Here we go. Yeah, so our healers. Mercy and Moira, like I said, we don't have defensive ult. With Mercy, we have Valkyrie, which gives her a lot more mobility, and it does up her healing from, I believe, about 50 a second to 60 a second. So not a huge buff, but on top of that, your beam also hits multiple targets, so you're going to be outputting a lot more healing than you would be without the ult. With Moira, she's just always outputting a lot of healing, provided your Moira is healing and not a DPS Moira. As far as our damage goes, Doom and Symmetra, it's a little bit of an odd combo. They don't really play together fantastically, but Sim's Wall is going to be a huge benefit to your team. It'll be able to split the point, kind of give you some extra cover. Doomfist has a really high pick potential, so as long as he is getting in and getting out to back to his healers, he should be okay. Our tank line isn't what you normally see on Anubis. Ryan, Zarya like to brawl on point, and the standard defense where you guys actually are on this high ground. Ryan and Zarya don't get a ton of value up here because they're both pretty close range characters. Ryan has his hammer, he's just swinging about. You're not going to be able to hit stuff on the high ground. So I would kind of like to see your tanks holding a little bit further up, maybe in choke, or holding further back on point. Where you're at, it's just tough to get value out of them. But it's not the worst thing. We have 2-2-2. As long as you're all playing well and doing your jobs, we'll be okay. That said, let's see how we do. Video, please. So this is going to be super nitpicky because you're already going back to the high ground, but there was really no need to fall off there. It's our team is pretty split. We've got our Moira and our Zarya over here. I think this is our Doomfist. Our Symmetra is right here. Our Reinhardt's up here. We're all over the place. At this point, I've watched through this before, and I'm pretty sure we're not in comms, but we need to be spamming the group up button in that case, like the group up voice line option, or even typing in to like team chat, hey guys, group up. Where we're at right now, these two are taking a 2v6. She's taking a 1v6, 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 and you have yet to. I know it's still early. You're going back to somebody, so we'll have two 2v6s and like two 1v6s. The game gets a lot better if you're taking fights 6v6. Try to convince your team to group up if you know they're not going to. Okay, so right here, I want to back up just a little bit. Look where we're at. I know the enemy's not even through choke yet, but just picture if they had a Widow, like, right here. Right behind the Reinhardt shield. You're dead. You're not behind this big blue rectangle that your Ryan has given you. You're not behind a corner, like at a wall. You have no cover. You are just out in the open. And thankfully, this Reinhardt's alone, because if he wasn't, you would at the very least take damage. If not, just outright be dead. Always stay behind cover. In this case, that's going to be to the right over here. And always try to stay behind shields. Shields are... Shields and cover serve the same purpose, but they are two distinct things. Shields are temporary. Even if it's Orissa's, if it's Reinhardt's, if it's Sigma's, Winston's, whoever's shield, it is temporary. This Reinhardt shield only has 2,000 HP. Once that's gone, he needs to wait about 8 seconds to recharge it. That means he does not have that shield to recharge it fully. Sorry. That means he does not have that shield to protect you. Whereas if you were behind cover, like one of the pillars over to the right here, or a corner if you're in a different spot, that doesn't go away. Overwatch doesn't really have destructible environments. There are some things, like maybe these pots or whatever, go flying, but the buildings themselves, the cover, is not going to change. That's where you need to be. Because then, yeah, if you're peeking, the Widow can still one-shot you. But every other character, bar like Hanzo, Doomfist, and a couple other one-shots, you're going to have time to react and just back behind that corner. Get out of danger. And with Mercy, you start healing. You heal yourself as long as you're not taking damage. So just make sure you're always playing behind cover or a shield. Preferably both. You kind of see what I mean by the Reinhardt's not doing a whole lot up here. All he has is a Fire Strike, and that's once every 5-6 seconds. You do go over to the Doomfist, you help him start winning these duels, that's good. You get with our Reinhardt to help him win the hammer battle. He does. This is all good, this is fine. Okay, so I understand why we want to stay on the high ground. I am totally on board with staying with our main tank 90% of the time. In this particular instance, you're up here alone with Reinhardt. Neither one of you can really make use of this high ground. Your Moira and your Zarya, they're actually in the position they kind of want to be. Zarya likes to brawl. Moira can be in a brawl. She has the fade to escape, the heal orb, which in this little room right here, It's going to be fantastic. It'll bounce around, help everybody out. You should probably be down there, or your sim is like way overextended. I'm looking for your Doomfist, and I don't know where they are. Okay, your Doomfist is up here too. With your current comp, and with where everybody is currently positioned, I would probably stick with your Doomfist. Your Moira can be in charge of the tanks. They have huge health pools. She does a lot more healing, just like raw healing, than you do. You can take care of the squishies pretty well. You can keep up with their mobility with your Guardian Angel, especially Doomfist. If he's like flying around, you just jump over to him and you're still healing him. He's good, he's fine. Damage boosting the Reinhardt here isn't gonna help. He can't hit anybody with his hammer. He might be able to hit a fire strike, but again, that's only once every like 6 seconds. So the majority of the time, you're effectively doing nothing. Even if he takes damage and you're healing him, he's not doing anything, so you're still kind of not outputting value. You're surviving, you're not dying, but you're not really doing anything, if that makes sense. Whereas if you're with the Doomfist, he's more than likely going to be jumping in, fighting the opponent, taking damage. Pocket him, not the Reinhardt. Or pocket the Sim. She's crazy overextended right now, so I wouldn't suggest that right now. But pocket your damage. Give them some of that damage boost love, not your tanks. There are exceptions to that, but general rule, pocket your damage. Okay, nobody's really doing anything here. Looks like their Reinhardt's going right with a Moira, I think I saw. So, okay, good, we're with a Reinhardt, this is fine. Oh, now you're leaving your Reinhardt, and your team is dead. Okay, let's go back and watch that again. I lost track of some people here. So our Zarya and our Moira are engaging down there. Okay. So, we see these people going right. We see them go into this room. Then, we see our Zarya bubble our Moira. You look at your Zarya, you see what she's doing. Then you look at your Moira, you see what she's doing. And then you turn to your Reinhardt. Yes, the enemies are going into this room. But you also see this Doomfist is here. Now, we don't know exactly where he is, but he's not in this room. At the very least, he's in this big open area over here. And it looks like he's in the middle of a move. It looks like he's fighting the enemy. You're probably gonna... Okay, I don't want to say it that way. You don't need to jump down to your Zarya or your Moira. It's not necessarily going to be faster, but what you do when you're following your Reinhardt causes kind of everybody else to die. So, right now, your Reinhardt's charging in. It's an idiotic charge. He probably should not be doing that, but you need to follow him. You've got both your damage dead and one of their healers down. You need to be on your Reinhardt. You cannot lose him for a second, because he's about to take a lot of damage. We know that the Reinhardt is down here because our Doomfist is there. We know that the Zarya is somewhere around there because our Sim, I don't know where our Sim was. We actually don't know where those two are, but we know at least the Reinhardt is down there. In a Reinhardt v Reinhardt battle, whichever one has healing is probably going to win. But we lose sight of him, and then we try to go back. And we see no one. We've lost track of our team. As Mercy, that is kind of like a cardinal sin. As a support player in general, that's kind of like a cardinal sin. You are responsible for keeping your team up. given how spread out they are, it's not really your fault that they're dying, but there is a lot more you could be doing to help them not die. You're not the reason they died, but you might be the reason they didn't survive, if that makes sense. Their own actions put them in the position to die. Your inaction didn't help them do whatever they were doing. As a support, it's your job to enable your team. You kind of are doing it. It looks like you have the thought process for it, but you need to break it down a little bit more. At the end of the day, Overwatch is a resource management game. It sounds really weird to put it like that, because we're in first person, a lot of the heroes shoot, some of them melee, whatever. It's very clearly like an active first person thing. But resources are very important. And what I mean by resources, your health is a resource. Reinhardt's shield, that's a resource. Your cooldowns, those are resources. Your ult, that's a resource. So you want to be using your resources, in this case, your Guardian Angel, your res, your healing, and your damage boosting beam. These are your resources, along with Valk and your own health pool. These are the resources you control. So, at any given moment, you need to be thinking, how can I use these to the highest effect, the highest value? What you're doing right now, and what you've been doing for the last, 30 seconds or so of the game, is nothing. It is effectively nothing. We didn't go in with the Doomfist. We didn't go in with the Zarya. We tried to go in with the Reinhardt, but we got scared and kind of backed out, tried to look for the rest of our team who were already dead. I'm not hearing any comms in this, so the coordination is going to be tough. But you essentially need to pick somebody and stick with them. Where you are right now, you need to pick somebody and just stick with them. Whatever they want to do, it is your job to help them with it. In this case, personally, I'd go with the Doomfist. He's got a lot of solo sustainability, and with you there also pocketing and damage boosting him, like healing and damage boosting him, he is going to be able to output a lot of value, and he might be able to carry your team. Your Reinhardt's not playing horribly. His positioning is just way out of whack. Like, I don't think he knows I don't think he knows where to stand, but your Doomfist has been getting kills. He got the pick on the Lucio. If we'd been there with him, it's possible, not guaranteed, but possible, he would have been able to fight off this Reinhardt too. We're getting into a whole lot of what ifs, but yeah, sorry, that went off into a crazy tangent. You are trying to heal your Reinhardt, but you're just not able to do enough. You're not there when he starts taking damage. Now we're with our Zarya, we're damage boosting. About halfway we switch to healing. That's alright. Okay. So, let's back this up. We have a Reinhardt. We're trying to heal him, but we're not saving him. At that point, it's not really on you. Too many people had died. They had too many people in there. Him dying is not your fault. The other people rushing into that room and dying, not totally on you. You could have helped them stay alive a little bit longer. Now, we are down our Reinhardt, our Sim, our Doomfist. I didn't see our Moira pop up in the kill feed, but I also don't see her out here. So I think we're down our Moira as well. Either way, we need to be backing out. If we stay in at this point, we are feeding the enemy ultimate charge. Even right here, you're not healing the Zarya, so you're not giving the enemy ult charge by giving the Zarya more health. But you're going to be giving the enemy healers more ult charge because you're damage boosting the Zarya. Zarya is doing damage to somebody, and that's going to get healed up by their healers. And they have... I'm not actually sure who they have because you haven't hit the info screen since like the start of the defense when all of their stuff was still question marks. I know we saw a Lucio. They might have a Moira, I think. So that's another kind of side point. Hit the info screen more. You want to know what they're running. You want to know what ultimates you might have to be looking out for. You want to know what ultimates are up on your team. It's just a really good way to keep track of what's going on in the game. If they have any switches, if you have any switches that nobody told you about, hit the info screen more. Back to what we were doing before. The Zarya, you're damage boosting her. You need to get out of here. Or die quickly. One of the two. If you know you can't make it out, just die. If you can make it out, get back to your team. Like the respawning team. And this is where comms would be really helpful. Or, again, even just like spamming group up or... I think group up's probably your best option. It's not an extensive communication wheel, but you need to be doing something to let your team know, hey, this fight is lost, we need to get out of here, or just die quick, so we can respawn and potentially have another shot at contesting this. Right now, they haven't even touched point. And you can see 2 or 3 of the portraits that were over here already gone. That means your team is respawned. And Reinhardt is pretty close to it. The only 2 people up are you and Zarya. If you die now, you have to wait 10 seconds to group up with your team. That doesn't seem like a lot, but just for effect, let's see where you were 10 seconds ago. 10 seconds ago, Reinhardt hadn't yet died. Oh, Moira did show up in the kill feed. Okay, so Moira was down as well. But 10 seconds ago, you were nearly halfway across the map healing a teammate that hadn't died yet. 10 seconds in the future, this man is almost respawned. You are now nowhere near where you were. The game has entirely changed. 10 seconds doesn't seem like a lot. Like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi, 7 Mississippi, 8 Mississippi, 9 Mississippi, 10 Mississippi. It's a lot longer than you think. So at this point, you really need to get back to your team. Or die. Because if you wait any longer, you're now staggered. This is kind of higher level stuff, but if you start doing it, you're going to climb very quickly. When a fight is lost like that, if you have lost 2 of your teammates, 2 or more, back out. Doesn't matter where you are, what you're doing, back out. If you can't back out, die. Die right then, right there. It's counterintuitive because we think the goal of the game is to survive, but you're going to be doing your team a lot more favors by either dying quickly or not giving the enemy that ult charge. Dying quickly, not the best option, because you are feeding the enemy ult charge, you're giving them more progress towards their ults, but you won't be staggered. If you can get back to your team, you deny the enemy ult charge, and you don't get staggered. So that's the best option. If you can't do that, die quick. So, let's see what we do here. Like I said, it's just you and Zarya against essentially their whole team. And we pop Valk. Remember what I said towards the beginning? One of the biggest benefits of Valk is that it hits multiple people. So you're outputting 60 healing per second to multiple people. The difference between what you would be able to do regularly versus what you can do in Valk to help Zarya right this second is pretty negligible. Like, it doesn't matter a whole lot. We should have saved this ult for another team fight. That said, let's see how it plays out. Okay, we're getting away from the fighting. That's good. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Okay, we're trying to save our Zarya. I get that. We have some teammates coming back in. Okay. But now you gotta get out of here. Zarya's dead. You gotta get out. And we go for the res. And we die. Now let me show you why I know you needed to get out of there. So we're with our Zarya, we're flying away. We see that both the Lucio and the Reaper are attacking our Zarya in this little room. What can you do to stop this Reaper? Probably not a whole lot, right? You've got your pistol over here. If you whip it out and shoot him in the face, you might be able to kill him before he kills Zarya. But Zarya is also really, really low. Now, that means we need to heal our Zarya. If she has her bubble, she's going to be able to at least survive this Reaper. But she's in a real bad spot. She is cornered by a Reaper. Reaper counters tanks. From there, we go up the stairs. This is good. We're getting away from the immediate threat, the enemy team that is on our Zarya. And then we stop and go back. Now, as we go back, look who's here. We got the Reaper. We got the Zarya. We got the Lucio. And we got the Zenyatta. Sorry, my, whoa. I don't know what that was. But that is 2/3 of their team. All staring. Well, maybe not Zarya, but 3 members of their team at least are looking right at your Zarya. Or at the very least, they know where she is, and they are clearly intending to give chase. You need to be paying attention. You need to be aware of your surroundings. Going back to value, you are more valuable alive than dead. And very truthfully, at this point, there's nothing you can do to help Zarya. As we kind of see this play out, Zarya still does die, even though you get there and you start healing a little bit. Right this second, there's nothing you can do to help Zarya. And you need to accept that and cut your losses. Again, this is counterintuitive because we're playing support. We think our job is to heal everybody all the time, keep everybody alive. You're not going to be able to do that. I promise you, you're not going to be able to do that. Sometimes the damage coming in is just too much. Sometimes your teammates are too far out of position, and going to them puts you out of position and makes you vulnerable. There are a lot of different reasons why you shouldn't heal somebody, but you need to be okay with letting your teammates die. It's really counterintuitive, but you need to be okay with letting them die. And then, as we watch this play out, clearly we go in, try to save Zarya, it doesn't work, we res. Again, we ignored the 4 people staring at this room who saw you go in. Normally, going for a cheeky res wouldn't be the worst thing, but even after our 10-second respawn, we still have 20 seconds left on this ability. And this is a huge ability. There's not really going to be a lot of... Okay. So we're going to pause it and finish this res discussion. When you're dying and trying to contest a point A like this on 2 CP, wasting a res in a fight isn't the biggest deal, because as you can see, you almost have it back. But say you tried that same move on point B, we saw that by the time you respawned and got back out to that fight, or what would have been a fight had the fight been on point B, you still had about 15 seconds left on that ability. And I know you might be saying, oh, that's only 15 seconds, like, that's not that bad, that's half the cooldown's already gone. But remember how long 10 seconds is in this game. 15 is an extra 50% longer. You want that ability to be ready, especially for mid-fights when people are dying. It was a bad res. Be careful where you're resing. It's not going to be helpful if you die before the res gets off. Now, moving on to what we're doing here. Who on your team is alive right now? Because to me, it looks like our Reinhardt and our Doomfist are dead. Meaning that this critical health blob and this critical health blob are our Zarya and our Moira. Our Zarya switched to Hog. This is our Sim and our Moira, whichever blob is which. They're both critical health. Going back to what we said about Zarya earlier, you can't save everybody. You shouldn't save everybody. Look how much progress they have on the point. They almost have that full third tick. And the number there, I think, is 3, maybe 4. Regardless, we haven't seen any of their team in the kill feed. We haven't seen it. Well, not on this side of the kill feed, I should say. We've seen a lot of them on this side. That means they probably have their whole team there. And if we watch this further, I think we find out we do. But now they've captured the point. And all 4 of you are out of position. You are taking a 4v6 fight. When, if you would let these 2 die, because they're going to die. Like I said, there's nothing you can do about that. They're critical health. You can't even see them right now, which means you can't start healing them. They're going to die. But if you die right after a point A capture in 2 CP, you get near instant respawns. It's a change they made a couple months back to make 2 CP feel less awful. Take advantage of it. Die right here, and you will be back on point, ready to fight by the time the enemy shows up. But that's not what happens. Instead, we do get up, we start healing our team, but now we're still 4v6. Zarya uses Grav here, she didn't really need to. We're going to talk about that. Zarya uses Grav and she didn't really need to because it's a 6v4 from their end. But you all start dying. Like, you are now feeding the enemy ult charge. 1, you're not stopping their progress. If you were going to stop their progress, you would more than likely have to hold and choke, but that's a really bad spot because their spawn is right there. And you have no shield. You are too far forward, taking a fight where you don't have numbers. For literally no reason. You're not protecting space because you don't have a shield. You're not holding this ground. You are actively trying to back out. But in doing that, in being afraid to die, you're getting the enemy ult charge, which is going to put them ahead of you, which is why that Zarya probably felt she could use Grav and not really worry about it. You are delaying your respawn. You are delaying the regroup of your team. Right now, had you died about 5 seconds ago, you would be on point B. You would be there with your Reinhardt, with your Doomfist, with your other teammates who are trickling back in after having died. Or better yet, when you saw the 2 critical health teammates, when you saw that the enemy had 2 ticks on point, you should have just backed out. You should have stayed on point B, because you were coming back from spawn. You never even touched that point before it got taken. Then there's this res. You see the whole enemy team coming up. The intention is good. Like, the intention is very, very good. You want to bring your teammate back. You want them to help fight. But look at what's going on as you res. You have a Zen right there. If this Zen wasn't being, like, attacked by the Roadhog, he would be charging a volley aimed straight at your head. And what can you do about that? While you're rezzing, what can you do about that? Nothing. You don't have your shield here. Your Hog isn't in front of you. Your Moira is not healing you. And granted, you're at full health. She doesn't need to. You pull this off, but you shouldn't have. You should die here. And now, look. So, initially, the sim died because of the Grav, then, I'm assuming a Discord, the Dynamite, she died. You rezzed her. That was great. But she died again. Because we were out of position. We didn't have a shield. We weren't ready to take that fight. So, instead of giving the enemy 200 ult charge, 200 units, whatever, of ult charge, you've now given them 400. And that's assuming Moira hadn't healed Sim at any point. That is bare minimum. You've given them 400 points of all charge. And you no longer have your res for when they actually get to the point, when they actually start fighting on point. What did we do? We delayed Sim's respawn. That's about it. Real bad res. So we're still backing up. We need to be behind our hog. Let Moira die. Let your teammates die. If they are overextended, if they are trying to 1v6 the team, you're not going to be able to help them unless your whole team goes with them. And at that point, we're getting into a whole bunch of other complicated stuff. If it's just one person going in, if your team is not backing them up, don't help them. They're going to feed. They're going to die no matter what you do. Don't let the enemy team get 2 people for one mistake. And like I said, Amara dies. Everybody else has backed up to point. You are now grouped up on point. Sorry, I just need to take a drink of water. Okay. For the most part, that's unlucky. There's not a ton we could have done to stop that, but I want to draw your attention to one thing. So we're here, we're fine, that's whatever, we're with our team, we're healing them. Did you see it? If you didn't then, you should now. You see this Reaper. You saw him coming in Wraith form. What you need to be doing right now, because we haven't seen Reaper ult yet. At least I don't think we have. We haven't been around if he has. He certainly hadn't last fight. That means you should assume he has ult. When you see him wraithing into your team like this, he's probably going for ult. As Mercy, you don't really have a counter for this. This is kind of way back at the beginning when I was talking about defensive ults. This is a great place for like a Zen Trans or a Lucio Beat, because your team will probably survive whatever the Reaper is going to do if you have that extra protection. As Mercy, you might be able to Valk through it if people are using shields well and they're far enough away. But other than that, you're not going to be able to stop this ult. So what you need to be doing, you see him coming in, you need to back up. You need to back away. Or fly to your Reinhardt right now. We're taking just a... We do eventually try to fly to our Reinhardt, but when it happens... Now, if we try to fly to our Reinhardt, it's too late. Look where your Reinhardt is. Look where you are. And look at this mass of damage in between you two. If you GA right now, which you do, you will die. Because you are flying through Reaper's ultimate. Again, right idea, very wrong timing on it. If we, as soon as we saw that Reaper, if we had jumped to our Reinhardt, then we're with him. He's probably going to shield this. That's your reaction. That's why you jump to Reinhardt, which again, good idea, wrong time. If you are with your Reinhardt, he will more than likely try to protect you with his shield as well. And it's going to be a lot easier for you to back up behind it when the Reaper starts ulting. Here, we need to be backing away. We need to get as far away from the center of that as possible. We might have a chance to survive if we do. And instead, we jump through it, we die. We are the only one that dies to it, and they do get the Reaper. Our Moira pop Koa, she's keeping the team up. That's whatever, that's okay. Healing our hog. It's fine, we need to be, yeah. Give it a Reinhardt, he was the critical one. We're good there. So we're just stabilizing. This is fine, topping everybody off. And our 3 of our team were hard flanking right. Okay, so let me... So I think this is our Doom down here. Yeah. Yes. Okay, so that's our Doom. look at what we're doing right now. We just healed our Reinhardt. We topped him off. That's fine. We're looking at our Hog. He's low-ish. No, actually, no, he's not. That makes him look like he's low, but he's not low. We can see his health bar right here. We see Moira damaging somebody off to the right. We see a Reaper kinda, sorta pressuring the front, but like at that range, Reaper's not gonna do a whole lot, right? And we're still healing this Hog, but we have ult, and he has his own self-heal ability that gives him ult charge. I don't know where Hog's ult is, because again, we're not hitting the info screen enough. Did you even hit it when you died? Okay, we did briefly hit it. You need to be hitting this more often than just when you die. Yeah, so we can see here, our Hog is at 53%. He is probably not going to have ult by the time you respawn. You are at 75. You are a full 25% ahead of him, and yours charges a little bit quicker. At least if you're like doing what you should. So I'm willing to bet when the thing we were talking about comes up, he does not have ult. Like here's about where we get ult. Oh no, he just used ult. So we know he doesn't have it. We know right now our Hog does not have ult. So when we get here, when we're healing him, it's fine. It's whatever. We're topping off our teammate. That's chill. He's now facing Reaper, and we keep healing him while we see a Zarya over here. We see our Doomfist, who is low. He's nearly half health, and he only has 250 health. Our big boy here has 600. Now we see Doom critical. Our Moira jumps down to him. And all our Hog and our Torb, we have 2 people here, keep in mind. 3 with you. All they're facing is a Reaper. Now it's true we don't know what they're facing over there, but this Reaper is not really pressuring us right now. At this range, your Torb is a much bigger threat than this Reaper. Your Roadhog is a much bigger threat than this Reaper. Because of Reaper's spread. Like, he's using shotguns, right? Now, granted, Roadhog is too, but he is an alternate fire. But you can even watch, because this Roadhog, or this Reaper is shooting. We see the Roadhog spread too. Like, they're not taking a lot of damage at this range. Even if they are, again, Hog has this self-heal, which gives him ult charge. We know he doesn't have ult. We're still healing him. We're taking ult charge from our... Taking ult charge from our Pig. We're not helping our Doomfist, who ends up dead. We're not helping our Moira or Reinhardt over here, and I'm not even going to get into why they shouldn't be over there. They are. We can't control them. We got to deal with what we have in front of us. We should probably be helping this fight, because it's clearly going worse than the one on point. And if at any point the people here, like actually on point, start needing help, you have Valkyrie. And you have Guardian Angel. If you can see them, you can jump to them with this. And if they're really low, if they really need it, you pop this, you hit everybody on point, they're getting healed, they're able to fight back. If you can't see anybody, if you're too far, you pop Valk, you fly up till you can, and same thing. There's not a ton of downside to helping your team down here. The potential benefit, maybe you couldn't have saved the Doomfist. I can't really see what's going on. He might have died no matter what you did. But you've got Rez. And you've got a Reinhardt and a Moira down there. Reinhardt can give you a shield for that Rez. Moira can keep the Reinhardt up and you up while you're rezzing. And then all of a sudden you have 4 people down there ready to fight. With 2 just chilling out on point, keeping that Reaper at bay. Which one do you think is getting more value? Because at the end of the day, that's what you got to be thinking about. Even right now, we see the Reinhardt took out the Zarya. He's running away, meaning this area is probably safer. Our Moira still looks like she's fighting, so maybe it's not. But we have a free chance to go res this Doomfist to get our ally back in the fight. And we're not. We don't even try. It's not the biggest deal because he's able to get back before the next. Doomfist is able to get back before the next team fight, but he could have been back faster in a position people weren't necessarily expecting. Pop Valk, pop Valk, pop Valk. Okay, sorry, I was talking over that and I kind of missed some of this. Let's look. Moira, that's fine. So everybody's fine. Alright. So right here. Our team, well, not our whole team, but a good chunk of our team just got shattered. And this Reinhardt is about to run through them. Reinhardt's hammer does 75 damage per swing. His charge does 300 damage, and his fire strike does 100 damage. This is bad news for everybody on the ground. We do have our Moira here, but we can see she's not healing. If she sent out a healing orb over these guys, then we'd probably be in business. We could, using the orb, using Moira's healing, and using your healing, we can keep them up probably no problem. I don't think that's what happens. We are damage boosting the Moira right now. I'm pretty sure that's our Moira. We're not helping either of the people actually in this fight. We're not healing either of the people actually in this fight. We are damage boosting our second healer. Out of all the targets here, which do you think should be getting this healing or this damage boost even? Because damage boosting, nobody's critical. Like, that's a completely okay move to damage boost to kill somebody and then heal them up afterwards. That is totally fine. Right now, we are we're not helping the people actually fighting. And honestly, I would pop Valk here because we see our Moira is not healing. We see two people engaged in a fight. Pop Valk, heal both of them. Then if they get to full health, switch to damage boost. Help them counterattack. Because I think that's a Zen orb coming in maybe? Yeah. Sorry, I thought I had to sneeze. But yeah, we see the Zen orb coming in. I think we still have the Reinhardt on point. I haven't seen him die. We are too close to this potential brawl fight. And now somebody is critical. And we're still healing our Moira. We are still healing our Moira, who is damaging. She is not healing. That means it is your job to keep your team up. You can't change what Moira's doing. She's doing the wrong thing here too. Don't misunderstand. But sometimes you need to cover for your teammates' mistakes. You need to be healing. Pop Valk right now, and you might be able to save both these guys. We get critical, they go down. We still haven't popped Valk. So again, Valk won't always be the solution, but it's going to boost your healing. It's going to do more. It's going to hit multiple targets, and it just physically does more healing. And it shortens your res time, like the actual cast time. You'll notice if you're doing it outside of Valk versus in Valk, they are a very, very different just time frame. And it's important to pop Valk early because again, its healing isn't huge. The benefit is that it heals multiple targets a lot over time. So if you start with Valk early, your team will be able to survive a lot longer and potentially get the picks that will keep them alive. If you're playing something like Lucio or Zen, their ults, Lucio's is a tiny bit of a cast time, but their ults are pretty, like they're immediate. When you hit triangle, you're getting healing, you're getting that barrier. With Valk, yeah, when you pop triangle, you have wings and you can start flying. The healing doesn't start until you start it. And even then, it's only 60 a second. It's not... it won't stop a Widow headshot. Let's put it that way. Unless you get 2 full seconds of healing in before the headshot. It's better to pop Valk early. It's better to pop something like Trans or Beat a little bit later, as late as possible. And this is stuff you'll start getting a feel for. Don't feel like it's oh no, I'm just absolutely awful, I'll never get better. It'll come with time, but you gotta know what you should be looking for. So Valk, pop it a little early. It'll help get your teammates prepared for a fight, heal up any poke damage they took, and then engage. Beat Transcendence, these defensive kind of ults, pop as late as possible. So let's see what we're doing. Okay, so again, we get this res off, but we shouldn't. We should not get this res off. Look at what's going on around you. You don't even try to hide it. You have a Zen right here. Your entire team is behind you. And there's a Zarya over here too, and you're just beelining for this corpse. Everybody knows what Mercy can do. You've been going for some cheeky reses here, and you've pulled some of them off. They are still mistakes. The higher up on the ladder you go, the less the higher up on the ladder you go, the less likely you'll be able to pull these things off. So if you get in the habit of going for them now, you're going to be building bad habits that'll get you killed when people are a little more aware. Like, I think we do get this off. Yeah, we get it off, but we die. So, we do die here. Kind of like we expected. We got the res off, but there was really no reason we should have gotten the res off. Our entire team was behind us. 3 of the enemy team, because Lucio was there. Lucio, Zarya, and Zenyatta were all staring at you as you did this. You should have died before that res got off. Just respawning, the team's on point, it's whatever. Okay, we're just topping off our team, that's fine. Wait, when did we pop Valk? Did we pop Valk in the Grav? Oh my god, we did. I didn't even catch that. Okay. Okay, so, 2 things. Like I said, Valk makes Rez's actual casting time a whole lot shorter, plus you can move around a little bit during that. If you had popped Valk before the res, that would have been a really good move. You might have even been able to avoid this Grav, and you probably wouldn't have died. When Mercy is Valking, I don't know the specific stats on it, but I believe her self-heal is actually accelerated. Or maybe not the wait time, but the rate itself is accelerated. The cast time for Rez is shorter, and she can move while she's using it, plus she's a lot more mobile. Pop Valk early. We popped it late, and we died and wasted our ult. Also, just another point. If you are ever caught in a Grav, Valk will not get you out of it. And more than likely, it's not going to save you from whatever the Grav is. If you're already outside of the Grav and you see your team in it, as long as they're not shooting something like actually maybe even a dragon, but if they're not comboing it with something huge or they don't have a ton of damage outputting onto it, Valk will be able to keep your team up through that if you are not in it. If you are in the Grav, popping Valk is a waste. You're not going to be able to use the mobility. You are trapped in one spot. Like, it's not helpful. your second healer, if they're with you, is probably going to be able to heal the group a little more effectively than you are anyway. And it's really just not a great move to pop Valk in the Grav. If you're outside of it, absolutely. Go for it, heal your team, totally fine. Inside of it, you're kind of just stuck till it ends. Try to keep your team up, try to damage boost them, get people away from you, but you're more or less as trapped as the rest of your team. So we wasted Valk there. Back, this is fine. Did we just feel like taking a backstage tour of Point B on Anubis? I don't really know what we were doing there. Why did we go back here? Okay. So it's like a fight's not happening. What you're doing in between is, I don't want to say irrelevant, but it's not as important as what's happening when the pressure's on. But I do want to talk about why we're back here in the first place. So, this isn't the first time, and it's not the last time either, that we take this position kind of like just in this little hallway. It might seem like a good idea to get as far away from the action as possible if your goal is to stay alive, but that's really counterintuitive. Especially for Mercy, or if they have a lot of diving characters. If you're a Zen or an Ana, that position's not fantastic. There are better ones, but that's not a bad position either. It gives you sight lines, you have some cover. Like if you're Zen or you're Ana, you're able to duel any flankers that come for you. As Mercy, if you are in this hallway right here, between these two lines, or walls, sorry, you have limited mobility, and you can only see two people to jump to right now. Plus, you're kind of at the limit of your beam range. This is probably the furthest back you can play and still do something for your team, but you're still losing out on a lot of your kit. One of Mercy's biggest abilities is her Guardian Angel, her GA. It lets you fly all over the place. It has a huge range, and as long as you can see a teammate, you can more than likely jump to them. That is your escape tool. That is your survivability factor. So you want to be able to see as many of your teammates as possible, because it gives you the most options. It makes it harder for the enemy to predict where you're going to go. Right now, like I said, you only have two. And on top of that, like, they're kind of in similar spots. If you're getting flanked from the door over here and you jump to Reinhardt, that flanker still has a clear shot on you. If you are getting flanked from right here and you jump to Doomfist, that flanker still has a clear shot on you. If somehow the enemy went left and your team is all looking this way, they might not see that person going left. But if they get into that hallway and you jump to either of these two, same thing. That person still has direct sight lines to you, and they know you can only go one of two places. If you were in a position, say, right up here near this pillar, your beam can still hit both Reinhardt and Doomfist, but it can now also hit these three people over here. So you have more targets for your beam, you have more potential to output value, plus, by seeing these extra three people, you have more escape options. And if you're here, and looking over here at this door, you can tell your team if somebody's flanking. They don't need to watch that door because they know you have it, as long as they're ready to respond to the call. So, I might get some hate for this, but Mercy is a pretty easy character to play. Like, her skill floor is pretty high, as I guess, or low. I don't know the exact terminology, but picking up Mercy, you will be able to do a lot pretty easily. The difficulty, the subtlety, and just the crazy stuff you can do with her kit comes when you start being more aware. A big pattern that I've noticed throughout the VOD, you stare at whoever you're healing. And that's fine. That's not the worst thing. You want to know what's going on. But you don't do a whole lot with it. Like, say you're healing this Doomfist right now, you will lock onto that Doomfist and just keep on him. But if you are healing that Doomfist, you have their status right there. You see what their health is at. So it's more beneficial to look other directions, to not look at the person you're healing. The best advice I've heard for it is be looking for the next person you need to heal. Because if you're doing that, you have an escape route. If whoever you're currently healing, like, and sticking close to, you have an escape route. If things go south right there, you are ready. As soon as anybody else takes damage, as soon as they're critical, you are ready to jump to them to help them, to just get them out of there. And you are keeping track of where enemies potentially are. So don't look at the person you're healing. Counterintuitive, but if you're keeping aware, you'll be able to do more. Video start, please. There we go. So we're kind of hiding back in this room, and our team isn't suffering because of it, because the enemy team isn't really pushing, they're not doing a whole lot. Why do you keep going in and out? I think it's just kind of funny. You're like, I'm scared, I want to hide in the room. Nah, I want to be out on point. No, the room. Back to point. No, the room. Back to point. And it's good that you're kind of changing up your position, but you're just walking in straight lines to do it. Whenever you're moving, try to move randomly if you can. Because think about it. Like, if you were just walking in a straight line. Sorry, let's start that over again. Say there's an enemy, like, right here. Say you have a soldier or widow. This is my soldier, my beautiful soldier. He's standing right there. You are our beautiful Mercy with oh my goodness. I apologize for my computer, by the way. It is doing some weird things. This is a Mercy. You have wings. Mercy. It's a fantastic drawing, I know. But if you are just walking in this straight line, all that soldier has to do is just shoot in that straight line, and he will hit you. If you are soldier, if you're doing something like this, whatever, he's gonna have to track your movements. So even just a simple, like, zigzag, he now has to track those zigzags. The way you're moving makes it harder for the enemies to hit you. If you're just moving in straight lines, you are giving those enemies a free shot on you. So think about making your movement a little bit different, a little crazier, a little more random. Still, obviously, going where you're going. Like, I'm not telling you to do, oh, I need to go to Reinhardt, but I need to, like, do 12 circles and a backflip to get there. That's not what I'm saying. Still go to your target, but don't just move in straight lines, right? Okay, back to the video. Why did... Okay. Can't help. Ryan's charging Narnia. Okay. That we could have done something about. So, whatever's going on there, you kind of see something going on down here. I wouldn't have caught it as a Reaper either. But we hear the shotguns. Right there, we heard the shotguns. Right? That lets you know that is a very distinct sound. There are only 2 characters in the game, well, 3. 3 characters in the game with shotguns. Reaper, Roadhog, and Torb. And Torb's is only an alternate fire. His is not always a shotgun. So Reaper and Roadhog are your most likely candidates if you are hearing shotgun sounds. And now we see this Wraith form. We see something red and like smoky. There's only 1 character that has that. And we see where he's going. He's coming towards us. You need to fly to your Reinhardt right now. Even if we don't know that Reaper has Death Blossom, you, Mercy, you are not going to 1v1 a Reaper. Right? So get out of there. You see him coming in. He's coming towards you. Still coming towards you. We still see him. He is still right here. He is now even closer. Get out. Even jump to our Roadhog. But he's now out of Wraith form. He is right next to us. He is next to us, and we haven't moved yet. We move when we hear the ult. And you moved immediately. You knew you had to get out of there, but it's already too late. You've already lost more than half your health. You're not making it out of this. So they do kill the Reaper because he's like walking into a 1v6 and trying to ult. But he is getting you with it, so he thinks he's doing a lot. He's getting himself killed, but because he's killing a healer, he is getting value. You are giving him value by not reacting quickly enough. And again, we're like back in this hallway. We're walking forward and backward in straight lines. You keep trying to back away from your team. And again, I think I understand why. You're trying to make sure you are alive to help your team out, which is a great thought process, great way to help your team. We're going about it the wrong way. The positioning for Mercy is actually pretty close to her team. It's, you want to be near somebody. You kind of want a buddy. When you play in Mercy, pick a buddy and stick with them. So I would really like to see you kind of up here. Excuse me. Up here near this pillar. Again, like if you're healing the Reinhardt, totally chill. But be looking that way. Be looking left. Or even looking right. Be looking somewhere other than your healing. And be close to your team. Because here, we're not seeing anything our team's not. We're not giving them additional information. That's unfortunate. I think so we see our Torb get critical here. Our Torb's overextended, so this isn't totally on you, but we're ignoring our Torb right now. If we are wrong direction. So if we are up with our Torb right now, we can actually hide behind these little boxes here. That is cover. You can be up there helping your Torb, like pocketing him, hard pocketing him, keeping him up. And if things go south, if Torb starts backing up, you have your team to jump to. You can Guardian Angel straight back to your team with no real risk to yourself. I know it's going to be scary, but you can't be afraid of dying in Overwatch. You don't want to die. That should never be your goal, but you can't be afraid to die. If you're too scared to push up with your team, you're going to end up losing a lot more than you win. If you were up here helping your Torb right now, again, just like right behind those boxes, crouching if you need to, you can heal him as soon as he starts taking damage, and you can damage boost him to help make him more of a threat up there. Ideally, your Reinhardt would also push up with him because he's just standing on point, but you can't control what other people are doing. Your job as a support is to enable what they're doing. If they're doing something totally stupid, like if this Torb was out past that choke, running at the enemy spawn, do not go to him. But your Torb's a little overextended, but he's only overextended because everybody else is playing on point. If you were up here with him, his position becomes a lot more viable, a lot more just scary to the enemy team. But we don't. He ends up taking a lot of damage.
Let's get you back out there.
Is that a Roadhog maybe that he's taking damage from? See, this is the other thing with playing so far back. You can't really see what's going on, so you can't make informed decisions about what you should be doing. Okay, it is a Roadhog because they killed our Doomfist. So our Torb has been taking damage this whole time with no help. I don't know where Moira went. I think she is... No, our Moira is on a flank. Right? Yes, no, maybe. I don't know where our Moira is. She was not on a flank, but now she gets with her Torb too late. Both you and the Moira are too late to help this Torb, because you already have the Reaper coming in. You try to GA to him, too late, they all die. And now we're back with a team. Not up, but whatever. We're back in this corner, or this hallway. This is... I hate this. Don't play in here. This traps you more than it helps you. If somebody pushes here and one person pushes the other side, you're dead. You're just done. Now our team is split. I don't know why these guys backed away from our Reinhardt. But you should be up there with your Reinhardt, like up at one of these two pillars. There's a Bob, totally fine avoiding that. Our Reinhardt charges out. But see, now we're trapped. We're trapped in the enemy backline in this hallway. We do manage to get out somehow. But now look at what's happening. Look at this percentage on the point. They almost have 3 ticks, and none of your team is on it. And we don't do anything about it. We ran away from point because we were afraid of dying. And that loses us the round. I don't want to be too harsh, but that right there is on you. It's on you and Moira. You are staring at the point. You are watching what's happening, and you didn't do anything to stop it. And I know the argument is, oh, I'm just going to jump on and die. Yeah, that'll probably happen. But you'll stop that tick percentage for a couple seconds. You will give your team... It probably wouldn't have mattered in this case, but you will give your team some extra time to respawn, to regroup, to get back on point. And your Torb even ulted. If you're playing in this Molten Core, enemies aren't going to be able to get close to you. And your Moira should be on point too. It's, again, the stuff isn't just on you. You're not the only one making mistakes. But you can't control Moira. You can only control you. So at the end of a round, even if you're going to die, get on point. Die on point. It's going to be a lot more valuable than just watching the round end. Yeah? So, after this point, you do get a lever. Yeah. So, the rest of it's like a 5v6. It's... a 5v6 with no comms isn't gonna work. Unless you guys are like... Unless everybody on your team is popping off. But we're just gonna kind of call the VOD here. Because, again, I've watched through the rest of it. A lot of the issues that happen there are what we've already talked about. So I'm just gonna kind of go over the summary of what I think you should be working on now. And don't feel bad if a lot of this, like, if it seems like I'm throwing a lot at you. I am. I'm not trying to overwhelm you or, like, make you think there's no hope or anything like that. There's just a lot going on. There's a lot to improve upon. But don't try to do it all at once. Pick one thing out of, like... I'm going to give you, let's say, 5 things to work on. Let's check what they are. So, positioning is one. Don't be afraid to play up. Don't be afraid to go forward with your team. A lot of your positions, you were just so far back that you couldn't really see what the enemy was doing, so you couldn't react to what the enemy was doing. If you want to play that far back, play Ana, play Zen. That is kind of their positioning. They want to be further away from their team. With Mercy, you kind of want to be close to mid-range. Your beam doesn't go that far. It'll lock onto people and it'll help keep them up, but it's not going to go like 30 meters in one direction. I think the cap's like 15 to 20, something like that. So play closer to your team, but use cover. That first point, when you were on the high ground with the Reinhardt, you were just kind of out in the open on this high ground. Just being on the high ground isn't enough to help you. You need to be behind cover as well. Secondly, watch your reses. Take a second, assess your surroundings before you hit the res. You have 10 full seconds once somebody dies to when they respawn to get there and get that res. If there are enemies right on top of them as soon as they die, which there probably will be, don't go for it. Wait it out. If you see the enemies move away, if you see their attention get drawn somewhere else, go for it. They're not paying attention to that body. You take that res. You get that person back in the fight. Don't do it if you have 4 people staring at you as you go into the room to go get that res. Don't do it if you don't have a shield or some kind of cover to play behind while you're rezzing. Don't do it if you're overextended. If you need to jump to somebody who is overextended to res them, don't do it. Keeping yourself alive is better than dying to get a res. Okay, so that's positioning, reses. Don't look at who you're healing. Look around. Heck, even if you are like locked on, if you are staring at somebody that you're healing, take that time, hit the info screen. Look up at the top of your screen. Look like right up here where the game info is. Look at the kill feed. As Mercy, part of your kit is kind of keeping track of everything else going on. It's a weird thing to say, but it'll help you out. There were several times when I paused and slowed this down and we just watched a Reaper slowly get closer to you. Stuff like that. If you are aware, if you're not intently, I need to heal Reinhardt, I can only look at Reinhardt, I can't look anywhere else, if I take my eyes off him, he's gonna die. Get out of that mindset. Look around. Keep your wits about you. Keep a general idea of where everybody is on the map. It's going to be harder with enemies, but the general rule there is if you don't see them coming down main, they're flanking. So we got positioning, reses, and just general awareness. Honestly, with those 3 things, I think I might have said 5 earlier, but we're going to go with 3. If you work on those 3 things, you will be able to improve quite a bit. Yeah. So, we are going to end it there, everybody. Thank you to everyone who is watching the video. This is my first attempt at a VOD review. We're going to swap over here real quick. This is my first attempt at a recorded VOD review. I really hope it helps you out. Both the person it was for and anyone else watching. Let me know how I did. I am new to this. I'm trying to get better, and the only way you can do that is with feedback. If I am screwing something up horribly, I need to know so I can fix it. I'm still trying to get better at the game too, and I'm just really here to help out if I can. Yeah, so I have been KillerbotT99603 with KovackAttack Gaming, and peace out, everybody.